this is a movie I had no intention of watching until recently, and I'll tell that story here in a second, but the movie is about David Spade, who plays a guy. The movie starts with him on a blind date with a character played by Sarah Lupkus. Blind date goes horribly wrong. She is absolutely insane and mentally ill and very disturbed. Things go poorly. And then the next scene, he meets what kind of appears to be his dream girl, played by Molly Sims, meets her at an airport and sets things up so that she can go on a getaway retreat with him to Hawaii. But through a wacky series of circumstances, he ends up texting the wrong person, and the character played by Sarah Lupkus, Missy, ends up going on this retreat with him, and a hijinks ensues. I had no intention of seeing this movie. I hadn't even heard of this movie. Apparently it came to Netflix a few days ago, but my dear friend Blake Kennedy, who I've known since I was reviewing movies back originally on YouTube back in 2008, texted me and said, "You got to see this because it features," and I'm paraphrasing here, "one of the most insanely committed comedic performances ever in a movie by Sarah Lupkus." And now that I've seen the movie, I know exactly what he's talking about. This is a terrible movie. This is not a well-made film. But this performance by Sarah Lupkus, who you've seen before, not a well-known name, but she was in Jurassic World. She's been in some other stuff, a lot of TV stuff. I like her. She's a talented person. Her performance in this movie is so insane that it kind of needs to be seen to be believed. And it's this movie's biggest pro, and it's this movie's biggest con. Pro being, look, I can't even say she gave a good performance, but it is so out there, especially when everyone else, David Spade, is collecting a paycheck in this movie. He doesn't care. Everyone else is sleepwalking. She thinks this is her big star turn, and she is so committed to this that at points the movie is almost worth watching just for her. It's insane. There are moments, they're seldom, but there are moments that did make me laugh out loud, and it's one of the most frustrating things about these Happy Madison movies. This is a Happy Madison production, is that a lot of them are terrible, but you'll almost be angry at how much you laugh at them at points, because there will be these moments you'll have your arms folded and you'll say, "I hate this, I hate this, I hate this," and then something will come along that'll make you laugh out loud for like a minute or two. You're like, "God, that worked really well." And there are a few moments, they're ever so slight, but there are a few moments that made me laugh really, really hard. That's kind of where the compliments end, and there are some major glaring problems that I have with this movie that really got under my skin. The biggest being, I kind of complimented Sarah Lupkus' performance. Her character is extremely unwell. Her character is remarkably disturbed and is someone who could not exist in society unless she was wearing a straitjacket. Her character is a massive problem in this movie, but I also hated David Spade's character. David Spade's character is an idiot. I hate this kind of comedy where the film just insults your intelligence. I understand plot conveniences. I understand contrivances. I am willing to accept and suspend my disbelief in a lot of movies. Christopher Nolan is my favorite director working. In almost every single Christopher Nolan movie, there is something that comes along that is dumb, that you kind of have to accept. There are plot holes. I understand that. But I hate this type of comedy where this movie would be over if the main character were to just stand up and say, "Hey, look, there was a miscommunication. There's a reason why all this is happening. I apologize. I'm going to send her home. I'll grab everyone around a drink. So I apologize for the inconvenience." But no, he has to lie. And then you have the whole liar revealed storyline, which is just painfully contrived. He's an idiot. But I still at points felt sorry for him because this character played by Sarah Lupkus is mentally unwell. She is a dangerous person, and it becomes so surreal that at points you almost do laugh at it, and you almost are so blown away by how crazy she is that you almost get some enjoyment out of it. Almost. The biggest issue I have with this movie is that it takes a couple things that are very, very serious and tries to make jokes out of them. Now, look, I need to explain up front, and I will stand by this forever. I am not someone who believes that you can't make jokes about X topic. With that said, if you're going to take on a serious topic and make a joke out of it, you need to be able to handle it with a level of grace, and you need to be able to bring something to the table that is witty. And this movie takes two very serious topics, suicide and sexual assault, and makes them into punchlines, and I think it's supposed to kind of be done in a way that makes this character seem endearing, and it doesn't. She essentially, spoiler alert for the 4 people in the world who care about this movie, she essentially rapes David Spade. She sexually assaults him once and full-on rapes him in another scene. And it's really, really uncomfortable. And the first half of this movie, I was absolutely hating it. I'm able to sit through some of the most disturbing stuff, and yet I was watching parts of this movie like this because I was just so uncomfortable watching these interactions go down, and not in a good way, not in like the way you feel uncomfortable watching There's Something About Mary, just in a, you don't feel clean watching it. The second half of the movie is admittedly less bad, but it suffers from the biggest problem that any movie can suffer from, and that's that it's boring. The movie ultimately becomes kind of a bore fest. I swear they made this up as they went along. Scenes have no real flow. There's no honest-to-God storytelling in this movie. Things just happen. And look, I don't expect much from a Happy Madison production. I've learned this over the years not to expect much, but it doesn't make it enjoyable. I'd be willing to forgive a lot of this if the movie was making me laugh, and it doesn't. Really, outside of 2 or 3 scenes, it's not funny. I found a lot of it to be uncomfortable and disturbing, and I'm glad it wasn't released in theaters because it's dull, it's a bore fest, and will probably end up being considered one of the worst movies of the year. This was really tough because I didn't like this movie at all. I didn't enjoy watching it. I'm glad it's over. I will never watch it again. It never made me angry. I was never angry watching it. Frustrated, sure, but I never like despised it completely. I never wanted to turn it off. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10, which is the same rating I gave Capone, and I feel like I was probably a little bit more complimentary about that movie than I am about this, but the thing is, this movie doesn't aim high. That's part of the reason why I can't completely hate it, is that unlike some other Adam Sandler movies, which kind of try to have some pretense and try to have some moral at the end, this movie doesn't aim high at all. And for what it's trying to do, I don't think it even accomplishes that goal, but it doesn't fall completely flat on its face. And it does feature a supporting performance that, like I said, kind of needs to be seen to be believed. So 4 out of 10 for what's this stupid movie called? The Wrong Missy. You can follow me on Twitter at Castellani2014. The link is in the description for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please click that like button. Please pound that subscribe button and comment if you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you thought of this movie. Have a great one. I will see you later.